Don't worry, I'll never do that again. Hey, what's up?
Hey, man.
How are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Doing awesome. Let me get your form pulled up here, and then we'll get started here.
Alrighty.
Okay, so what I'll do is I will record this, and I'll have this sent to you by Monday. So you
All
will
right.
be able to go back and watch it again if you'd like. But yeah, let me get everything pulled up here. Okay, so obviously, like I said, I'll have the recording sent to you later, whenever you'd like, and by Monday. And then you can go back and watch again. And then if you have any questions at any point in the future, you can send those to me anytime. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. So, what got you interested in coaching?
Actually, it's kind of funny. So you remember that guy you coached like a couple weeks ago, Captain Crack Sparrow?
Yeah. I absolutely remember Captain Crack Sparrow.
That's my roommate, and
Really?
yeah, and he was like yeah, I signed up for coaching with Spilo. He signed up in like December or something, and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, oh well, I'm gonna sign up too because I watch all of your videos, like.
Oh, nice. I'm flattered.
Yeah, you're kind of like where I learned Tracer from,
Cool.
and I tried Awkward's playstyle, but it was really hard. I just couldn't do it.
Makes
Like
sense.
constantly shooting. I just kept getting rolled. So
Sure.
I started watching you, and I was just like, you know what? Like I think it's like I learned as much as I can just from watching. I think I need some coaching.
Sure,
So
sure. I think everyone's got a different benefits from different types of play styles and different types of coaching. So, we all fit different niches. So, okay, well,
yeah,
cool. How long you been playing Overwatch?
I started in season 4 or 5, I think, and of Overwatch 2, and um, I was a quick play warrior for a little bit on
Welcome to the club.
console. Yeah, and I was just trying to find like which I like to play, and I was a support main for a little bit on
Yep.
console, and then I switched over to PC like maybe like a month or two after season 4, so like
Got
season
it.
5 or 6, and then I switched to DPS and main tracer. I have a crazy amount of hours on her. It's insane.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Now, it says in the form that you play primarily tank, or at least you're looking for tank coaching today.
Yeah. So I don't know if you saw my message, but I'm actually taking a break from tanking. I was hoping we could go over my tracer
Yeah,
campaign
let's do
because
it. Let's do it. What, did you send me an email,
I
or was it in
sent
the
you.
form?
It was no, it was in the it wasn't like to you directly. It was in your channel. I had messaged and said um, is it possible to
Oh,
like.
oh, yes. I remember in my Discord. Got it. Yes, I
Yeah,
remember.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, okay, sounds good. So, moving over to Tracer. So now that's a fun hero, but why the pivot specifically?
Well, I just wasn't having fun on tank anymore. Like I don't know. Like I made it to plat 4 on tank, I think, and on one of my accounts, and
Mm-hmm.
um I don't know. Like I just stopped having fun because it seemed like tank was just like you're kind of just like this damage sponge, right?
Yep.
And you're
Yep.
waiting. You're kind of waiting for your DPS to make a play, and I thought, man, I wish
Mm.
I could make the play,
Huh.
And I know, like if you're like a GM tank or even a diamond tank in a plat lobby, you can make plays, but I'm just, I don't know, I just wasn't having a lot of fun, and I didn't
I
want to
mean,
put
that's
that
it
much
right
effort
there,
into it.
right? If you're not having fun, that's it, right? Like
Yeah.
that pretty much makes the decision for you. So, okay, makes sense. Okay, so you're on Tracer now, and I assume that you've played a lot of the different characters, and you settled on Tracer. Why Tracer specifically?
Um, so I tried out long range heroes, and I found because I just recently switched to PC like 4 or 5 months ago, 3 months, like yeah, 4 or 5 months ago, and I um I found that I could not hit anything at a distance. My aim is a
Hmm.
lot better now,
Hmm.
and so I was like, so I started playing Reaper, and I found like I just didn't really like it. It's like he's like very slow, and then I was like, I'll give Tracer a shot, and I had a lot of fun with like the fast style gameplay. Her and Genji, I don't play a lot of Genji though because I'm not
Yep.
very good with projectile. But
Yep.
I love the fast paced nature of the playstyle, and also being like a little assassin, going
Yeah. Yeah.
sneaking up. Yeah, it's really
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay, well, I mean, it's a good choice. There's a lot of things you can do with Tracer. Now, the key thing is that are you silver right now?
Um, I ranked up to gold.
Nice, mate.
Yeah.
Nice. Congratulations. But you've got a mountain to climb, right? Now,
Oh yeah.
here's the thing though, is you don't have to climb to the top. Let's put it this way. I have my mother-in-law is she's a big hiker, and she lives up in New Hampshire, and so there's a lot of mountains up there, and so she does a lot of the hiking, and she calls herself a hiker, and she loves hiking, and she's really into it, right? But she's never climbed Mount Everest. Okay, so you don't get to gatekeep, what you are. So where you are is you're playing a hero that has the potential for Mount Everest, right? But you
Yeah.
don't have to be Mount Everest to really enjoy the character and to get really good at the character. So you are a gold Tracer player. Tracer may be the most mechanically strategic, the most overall, most difficult character to play with the highest ceiling in Overwatch.
Yeah.
But you don't have to necessarily master every single part of her kit to not only have fun, but also to find a lot of success as well. But just as long as you're aware of that, it's a lot to chew
Yeah.
off.
I love the challenge. That's
Good.
another big reason because I remember I remember in a video of yours you were coaching like a um, a GM tracer, I think, or a
Hmm.
diamond tracer or something, and you said you have the mechanics, but you need to understand. And you said you need to understand that this character has a high ceiling. She is perhaps the hardest character in the game.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was like, oh, challenge accepted.
Yeah, listen, I was just, that was the same reason why I initially picked up Genji, although he's not quite as hard as Tracer necessarily. But just knowing that I'd heard that he was a really hard character is like kind of there's a certain psychopathic percentage of people like you and I that are just appealed to that. And the good news is also looking at your form, getting around 10 to 20 hours per week, like you're getting decent practice time too. So
Mhm.
you'll be able to make improvements with that. So let's actually move to that. So you're getting around 10 to 20 hours a week. That's good, but that is a pretty large variance. And also I'm curious to see like how those hours are spent. So what does the variance kind of come from?
Well, what do you mean?
So when you're saying I play 10 to 20 hours per week, that's double, right? Like we're going from either
Oh
10
yeah.
or 20. That's a pretty big variance. So what kind of impacts that decision for you? Is it more IRL stuff, or just whether you're
Um,
feeling it, or work, or what?
it's like IRL. I have like a
Mm,
pretty like it's IRL sleep schedule stuff like that. I usually go to
yep,
bed at like I'm kind of limited during the week sometimes. I'll go
makes
to bed
sense.
at like 8 to 9 p.m. Then I'll wake
Yep,
up at like 4:30 in the morning, 5 in
yep,
the morning,
yep, makes
and
sense.
and then and I'm like I'll play like maybe an hour or two before work sometimes, and
Sure,
then maybe I'll play when I get off work. But a lot of my playtime is over the weekend, so I'll spend
yep,
like 3 to 6 hours on the weekend, and
got it, got it.
sometimes I'm just like not feeling it, over
Yeah,
the
I
over the
get it.
week.
I get it. I
Yeah.
get it. Okay, okay. I mean that's pretty normal. I think like here when I've had these discussions with people that have like really awkward work schedules and like awkward play times as well. I've always recommended that whenever you can, the minimum effective dose is something that I always talk about. Where it's like if you're in the situation where you're not able to play a lot during the week, if you're able to get even just a game or two, like you talked about an hour or two before work, maybe not even an hour, like 40, 45 minutes, right? You warm up for five,
Mhm.
10 minutes, you get 1, 2 games in. And not even necessarily doing that every day that you're working, but do it like every other day. I think that's going to be a good way to kind of, for lack of a better term, put the brakes on your regression. Does that make sense?
Mhm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that you're still focused, you're trying hard, but you're just kind of preventing yourself from losing the gains, quote unquote, that you made over the weekend. And then to understand the limitations, you really need to understand that you can't fully compensate for the time that you spent off during the weekend.
Yeah.
One of the analogies I always talk with is like that teenager that gets into the gym for the first time, right? What do? Well, they're going to go to the curl bar, or they're going to go to the dumbbells, and they're going to do curls for 3 hours, right?
Yeah.
And after about like the sixth, seventh, or eighth set, maybe the diminishing returns is so unbelievably hard that there's really almost literally, and in fact, it's almost a negative thing at that point that they continue to go. And so for you, it's like, you hit 3 to 6 hours. I would say with your sleep schedule of 8 hours and it being on the weekend, your hard limit on the weekend on average is probably around 3 to 4 hours of like valued practice time. And so when you hit 5 and when you hit 6, it's not that I'm discouraging you from playing that long necessarily, but it's not practice. It's just playing for fun.
Okay.
And you kind of need to remind yourself that. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense, yeah.
So you have 2 good training days during the week. You have a couple training days during the week, which are just kind of keep you fresh, keep you warm, where you're still trying. And then you have a couple hours in the weekend after your training where you're just playing for fun and you just like relax. And I think the important reason why I bring that up is that it's very important to segment your training into those 2 different categories, and that you don't try hard for 6 hours, right? Because what will happen is that you'll coast at about 90%, or you'll go really, really hard, burn out around 3.5 hours, and then keep trying and get really frustrated at yourself, or get frustrated at the game, or get frustrated at your teammates or something like that.
Yeah, and then you'll have
you'll not have fun. You'll not have fun. Not just that you won't you'll build bad habits, but also you're just it's not gonna be fun. So what's the point, right? Like lay off the gas a little bit. But I think the key thing is full energy, full focus for 2 to 3 hours on the weekends. If you can get a full energy, full focus for a couple of games every other day or every day if possible. And then I think that like that is certainly a decent enough training structure to get you to plat.
Ooh, okay.
Definitely. And at least in terms of training time. Now how you're spending that time and making sure that you have goals to practice in game is the key thing. But in terms of just raw time, oh yeah, you're totally good for plat. Totally. Now, I assume you mostly play ranked, or do you spend other playing quick play, unranked, arcade?
I'll play like a little unranked here and there. I play like mostly comp, but I will like warm up with like a quick play game, and some days like if my friends are on that are on console, I might play quick play only that day, just for fun. And yeah, that's about it. Like mostly competitive.
Makes sense. Okay. And I think even like how you incorporate the other game modes, you can try to incorporate that into your schedule a little bit. You don't want to be like a super nerd when it comes to like, I have to stay with my schedule. I can only play, or, I can't play quick play until 3 p.m. Be flexible with it. If your friends are on, mate, like, play with your friends. But that's just like the ballpark estimate you would want to aim for is around 2 to 3 hours of ranked practice, on the weekend, and then trying to get in a couple of ranked games during the week. And the reason is just because, you're going to be focusing on yourself. You're not going to be distracted by your teammates. Quick play, the queue times can be weird. You only play attack. People aren't try-harding as much. Just put it on the line with competitive when you can. But obviously, like, don't be super, super uptight about it. Okay. Keep looking through the form here. Any questions so far, by the way?
None yet. I'm sure I'll have some once we get started. I will say this though. I when you watch my Tracer gameplay, try not to roast me. I make a lot of mistakes.
Trust me, mate. Listen, you have no idea what my Tracer play looks like. So I could not roast you without feeling guilty about it myself and having the YouTube comments tear me a new one too. So I got to be really careful. But no, it's fine. I mean, you're it's a big ask, right? Like you're not necessarily hard grinding this game for years and years and years, and you're playing the most difficult mechanical and game sense and decision making character. So no, I mean, there's going to be a lot to poke fun at, but also there's going to be a lot to be like, hey, that's actually pretty good. So that'll be fine. Okay, let's see here. What do you feel is holding you back from improving? Now, this was obviously more to do with tank. So you said at least with tank, understanding maybe mechanics, hard to tell, target priority, knowing when to dive, when not to. Is that still the case with Tracer, or are there another set of like ankle weights holding you back?
That is so like I know like with Tracer, I know I know you dive when they're isolated, but when they're all grouped up, it's kind of hard. Like I don't really know like what to do. Like I've heard from some GMs like stick with your tank. I've heard with some GMs like, hey, go behind their team and just distract them. And then hopefully get a pick, so I'm not really sure what to do in some situations. But oftentimes I feel like I'm like if I win games, I'm getting carried, especially like in gold right now. I feel like I'm getting carried. some games I feel like, okay, I pulled my weight there, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Check
So
this
I'm
out.
not.
Let me know when you're in there.
I am. I can see your screen.
Lovely. So I actually just coached some Tracer 2 days ago, and we talked about this, but we're going to talk about it again because I think it's really important. It's called the Kevster principle. All right. Now, what it is Kevster is a really, really great ex Overwatch League player. Not that the league is dead, and he's one of the best, maybe the best Western DPS player, EU or NA, right? And basically, the idea is that when you're playing Tracer, your job is like, let's say this is the enemy team, this is a support over here, and this is a DPS on the flank, and there's a DPS here, and then this is the tank, and the support's over here. You're looking at this as Tracer, right? And you're thinking, oh, it's just easy. I just go pick off this guy, and then maybe I can pick off this guy, and then this guy, these guys maybe I don't really want to mess with, right? Because they're not isolated, right? But you brought up a really great point. What happens when the enemy team is grouped up, or maybe not even super grouped up, but just close enough to where it feels like every time that you put any pressure, you get the entire cavalry looking at you, right? What do you do?
I just take an off angle.
Well, right. Well, that goes without saying, right? So first thing you should be doing is taking an off angle here, or taking an off angle there, taking an off angle here, taking an off angle here. Any of these positions are fine. But again, the problem still presents itself is like when I pressure, this target is realistically, it's not going to die, right? There's too much help. Yeah. And not only that, but it feels like I'm always on a nice edge of dying myself because the second I sneeze in their general direction, everybody turns around, right? And I just get blown up and I die instantly. And you're playing a 150 HP character, right? Let's not kid ourselves here. So what's the goal here? When you do play versus teams that are grouped up, what's the goal?
I guess I guess you could try and distract the support.
Yes.
Or DPS.
Yes. See, you have it right there. You already know the answer. The answer is that because they're not isolated, the chance of the kill is not there. But the value of distraction is much higher. You see, think about it this way. When the enemy team is all split up, right? When you go for an isolated target, right? And I mean really isolated. Is this target way over here likely to get a lot of help? Not really. Probably not. So that means bad things and good thing. The good thing is that you get the kill. Ding, nice job. The bad news is that you don't really distract this person, and 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 they're smoking your team, right? So it's still good that you got the kill, but you're not really getting any distraction value at all. So the good news and the bad news is when they're grouped up, when there's no isolated targets, you do not have a real serious chance of getting a kill. But when you do shoot this target, you could probably see where I'm going with this. Your distraction value is way higher. You might even get 5 members of the enemy team looking at you, which is really freaking good for your team. Really, really good for your team. The problem is, there's 2 problems. Number 1, you got to be prepared for that. You got to know what's happening. You got to be like, oh, these guys are grouped up. This is going to be a 2v1. Or a 3v1, or maybe even a 4 or 5v1, right? And so what is your mentality when you go into that engagement? How do you use your cooldowns? How do you position yourself? Think about it.
Well, what I normally do is I'll like go in and get really aggressive since I have recall.
Yeah.
And I'll go in, I'll try and one clip someone, and then they'll all turn around and shoot me. So then I recall.
Okay.
And then I'll kind of like hold a position and just shoot at them a bunch, right? And then make them look at me, make them know I'm there. And then I kind of just circulate. Like when I get my recall, I mess up a lot because like sometimes I forget like, oh, I didn't have my recall there. But and then I'll just move in again and watch, rinse, repeat.
And that's good, right? You got to utilize cover. You got to use like your health packs. You got to use your blings. You got to utilize your recall. But basically, you're playing. You know that you're not really going to get a kill, so you're playing it real cautious. Just being an annoying gnat as much as you possibly can. And this is what the Kevster principle is. It's seeing these situations here and understanding that I'm not going to get a kill, but I am going to distract and adjusting how you play slightly. Now, that all changes when it becomes a 1v1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I should be able to win this 1v1 99% of the time. Now, I might misplay it, or I might mess up my mechanics, or maybe I forgot that they had this cooldown, but I'm playing to kill here. I'm not playing to distract. And again, the problem with this is not only do you run the risk of dying if you try to get the kill when you should be distracting, but number two, you said this earlier. You said that sometimes I feel like I'm just getting carried. I'm not really doing anything. Guess what?
Mm-hmm.
When you do this is not exactly going to kick off all the dopamine reactors. Certainly not early in the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not going to be getting the opening pick. It's not happening.
Yeah.
You might get mid-fight or late-fight cleanup kills. You burn that recall, you go back in there when your team helps you and you push back in. But you're not going to be getting that dopamine. And you might think, oh boy, like I'm just getting carried. I'm not even the kill feed at all. I have like 10 less eliminations than my other DPS. But yet, why did your DPS or your Cassidy over here, why did he just kill 3 people?
Because I was behind them and distracting them.
Right, because they had their backs turned. And not only did they have their backs turned, they were also throwing flashbang or grenade or sleep dart or you broke pylon or defense matrix return. And that's exactly what you're doing. And that's not always super satisfying, but it's good, honest work.
Yeah.
And the good news is that there will be opportunities frequently where somebody will be isolated, or mid-fight, they'll be like, oh no, shoot, we're getting turned in the back. Everyone stop, look at the tracer, turn around, focus on, and then, there's your opportunity to go in and get actually secure the kill. The question is are you recognizing those opportunities, and are you being patient with yourself when you're just distracting? That's the question.
Sometimes not.
And that's what we'll look at in the review. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll end our little paint stream there. Any questions so far with any of that?
Not really. You explained it pretty well.
Okay.
I understand it pretty well now.
Good. So you understand it. Now we'll see how you're doing at executing it. I don't really have any other questions for you. Your sleep looks good. Well done. We could just look at some gameplay if you want.
All right. It sounds good.
Let's do it.
The code for you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Let's see. Replays. Okay. Okay. Right. All right,
Got it.
there you go.
Got it. So I'm going to restart my stream because I have to swap it over to Overwatch. So you'll need to click on my profile picture in Discord at the top of the Discord call. And then you'll see over to the left, you'll see this stream again.
Okay, so click profile picture, watch stream. There we go. All right.
Perfect. All right, so we should be in. Okay, so let's look at some Tracer here. Yeah, so really all Tracer is take an angle, time the pressure at the same time as your team, so that even if you don't get a kill, that distraction value has value, right? Mm-hmm. The worst thing in the world is to distract when nobody's there to get value from that distraction. Take an angle, pressure, and then mechanics. How are you moving? How are you using your recall? How are you using your blinks? That's pretty much all there is to it.
Okay.
She's a very complex hero in the details, but the fundamentals of Tracer are very simple.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what I want you to do is we'll start off with, once we get set up here, this looks to be about good right here. Let's start with this. What do you think of this initial starting off angle? Good, bad, decent, not sure?
I think right here it's good, especially because my Kiriko is here.
But you didn't know that. But you didn't know the Kiriko would be here.
I did not. No,
so is it still good?
Middle of the fight.
Okay.
I think so because
I think so too.
Their enemy team can't really get to me from here. This Tracer's very isolated.
Sure.
I think I do lose this 1v1 though.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. She was pretty good. I
like the single. Most teams are going to roll out here at your rank. So then this is an off angle. Good job. You could have also rolled out here. You could have rolled out here. As you start to rank up, there will be more of a chance that the enemy team will roll out on high ground, in which case rolling out on high ground for you might not be all that good. You might instead roll out, ironically, where your team is rolling out and take an off angle around here. But for now, this is great. So now, win the 1v1. Now, if there was nobody here, let's say the Tracer with her team or on the other off angle, what would you have done?
I probably would have circled around and gone after
Mm,
like their supports,
looks
maybe.
good to me. See, you got it. You know what you're talking about. This is all fine. This is all fine. I don't really have a problem with this. A lot of these details, we're not going to go super in depth into like how do I want a Tracer 1v1 because you're doing fine. You're doing good enough. And because a Tracer 1v1 is not going to be happening very frequently, don't worry about it. I just want to see you doing your job. Now, I want to be cautious about this here. Remember, you always kind of want to be the pest on the outside. You never want to put yourself right in the middle of the picnic where 7 different hands are going to be swatting you, right?
You don't want to make a Tracer sandwich.
Exactly. You know the terminology. So these are one of those awkward times where it's like, well, then what do I do here? What you do is you don't do this. You don't do this because this is exactly like you said. It's not either a Tracer sandwich or it's a frontline Tracer. What I would do here is just go back up the stairs and maybe even look to hide here. Wait for the supports to walk forward. Utilize this little room here and look for an opportunity to drop and harass backlines. Or if the supports are really far back, do what you said initially and rotate all the way around. You know, you beat that Tracer. Now, you cheated. You had Kiriko help, but that's okay. You used your Kiriko. You beat the Tracer. So now you can wrap all the way around behind if you'd like to. But instead, you got a little bit of that ADHD. I'm not shooting something right now, so I must shoot something right now. And instead of setting up in a better position to shoot more valuable targets, you put yourself in a dangerous position where you're shooting a not so valuable target. And the reason why that's so bad is even though you didn't die, what value are you getting right now?
Minimal ult charge.
Minimal ult charge, minimal distraction, minimal kill threat, minimal space control, and all the advanced esoteric concepts. But you're doing nothing, basically. And not only that, but you're not really in a good position to do something anytime soon either. Because to get back on an angle, it's going to take you a little bit. And heck, you're still missing HP. You see this? Ugh, why am I looking at a Malga? Ugh, why is that Ashe killing my... You should have one-clipped her, right? You should be up here one-clipping her, right? So it's always one of those things where it's like, man, how were they able to get all these kills? Well, it's because the life of the On of the Ashe are under no pressure. Why? Because you wanted to shoot a Malga instead of set up on an angle to pressure backline.
Oh, okay.
You see that? And you see how this is really simple, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead, finish your thought.
This is where I get like confused, you know, because like I've had like so many people like tell me, oh, like play with your team, you know, don't go for those off angles, and then I'm like, okay, well,
who tells you this? Who tells you this? I gotta ask.
It was this GM5 guy. His name is Plu or something.
Okay, that's fine.
He said I think it's better to stick with your tank even. And he's like those off angles, you know, like you need to be. Your team needs to be around, which you know, like
yes, of course.
See you.
Sure.
Which made sense to me, right? But then he said stick with your tank, and I was just like,
right. Well, I was with him up until that. That's all right. Not everyone has this as their job, and sometimes not everyone has perfect advice. But regardless, this is kind of what your friend or the guy that was getting advice from. This is kind of what they're saying, right? Where it's like you are playing around your team right now because is your team engaged right now? Is your team fighting? Really. I mean, a little bit, right? I mean, look at this. Look at the tank trade, right? There's stuff happening right now, right? So you take an angle at the same time. You get to the targets that you want to. The reason why angles matter so much is because it takes you forever to kill a Malga. But it doesn't take you forever to kill an Honor, an Ashe, or a Life Weaver. Even if you don't kill them, the more cooldowns and the more panic that you force, the more of that Kevster principle, right? The more cooldowns, the more distraction. And that you will kill the Malga by pulling resources to yourself. So I like what you're doing right now. This is good. Good try.
Yeah.
Because let's be very clear. You have fumbled the bag miraculously with these mechanics right here, right? This is ugly. However, look at the kill feed.
Oh, they killed the Malga.
I wonder why.
Because he didn't have an Ana healing him.
Mm-hmm. And at any point in time here, if you play this correctly, you should get this kill, and you probably shouldn't die. Heck, there's also life grip, too. You got a huge cooldown now. So, should you play that one better mechanically? Yes. What I would recommend mechanics here is when you don't have blinks here, you need to be very careful about taking this fight. You either need to quickly pulse bomb and then disengage, or you need to be very careful about how you take this fight. Don't
Okay.
stand still here. So like right here, when she first puts her crosshair on you, the first thing that you should do is what?
Blink.
Blink, not shoot, blink. It's only when they're moving their crosshair to look at you, or you have them, they're not even looking at you at all, that's when you shoot here. So as she's looking at you here, your first response should be to blink here and then just relax and shoot. Why? Because what does she have to do with her crosshair?
Oh, she has to move. Yeah, that sounds like something A10 would say.
Right. A10's a really smart dude. So you need to blink first if they see you. They don't see you, shoot first. So it's not always true, but that's true 90-something% of the time, and that's a really great start. And then as you get better, you'll start to learn the exceptions to that rule and so on. But that's a great start to the rule.
Okay.
So if that rule alone would have made this 1v1 feel much better. But regardless, what you did, not how you did it, but what you did was great. And you won your team the fight. So well done.
Thanks.
So, there's lots to roast here, but there's also, it's like, yo, that's actually pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Like that's pretty good. Now, speaking of roasting here, I know you're eager here. This is the Kevster principle, right? How many people are going to look at you right now? Let's count. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Sleep dart as well. The question is who is benefiting from this 4v1?
I guess no one, because my team isn't engaged.
Oh.
They're all the way back there.
You see this?
Mm-hmm.
So this is an example where it's like, I'm being focused, my team should benefit from this. Because it's not bad that's a 4v1. It's bad that's a 4v1 right now.
Yeah.
So what should you do right now?
Stick with my team.
Nope.
Just, set up.
Set up, and wait. So you're kind of set up already right now. You just need to sit and listen and hide. Right? Wait for your team. Yeah. Listen. Wait. Okay, when do we go in here? Okay, we're waiting. Listen here. Kind of keep them busy. Okay. Set up. Maybe I want to kind of deepen my angle sneakily here, right? Maybe get a little cheeky with it. Okay. All right. We're going to ignore what just happened in the kill feed right now. All right. The tanks are now fighting. So now this is the time to go. And you could not only see it, but you could hear it as well, right? And look at what is presented to you if you were to engage right now. One of two things. Super high Kevster principle, right? Maybe 3 people turning around to look at you so Malga dies. Or maybe the Ashen Life Weaver are deaf and the Ana dies. Mm-hmm. Or maybe even get a 1-clip here, right?
Yeah.
Let's watch what happens instead. Right.
Yeah.
So, you go from being the hero, absolute deadlifting your team the win, to absolute being the chump, absolute heel.
Yeah.
And that's how it goes, right? That's how it goes. And I think that's important to note that even after this review, that you're still going to make not just mechanical errors, you're going to make decision-making in game sense errors, because not only do you have to build these new habits, but this takes thinking, right? This is like, it's a lot of thinking involved here. So you're going to be a little slow and you're going to make some bad reads. Like right now you might think that, my Life Weaver's engaged, I should fight here. But I'd actually argue that your Life Weaver's dead. And right now you should probably not be engaging at all. You kind of got the right idea. Right? But you're not always going to make the right decisions. And that's okay.
Yeah.
So now you know that your Kiriko and Life Weaver in spawn. And you know that you need to try and set up an off angle. And you don't really know for sure where the team fight's going to happen here.
Yeah.
So, oh dear. What should you do here? Is this a good position for an off angle here?
Not really.
Why not?
I think...
What would you do instead?
Well, I do minimal damage from this distance.
Mm-hmm.
I think that her effective range is 10 meters or something. So
sure.
I guess maybe circle around to where that tracer is, and either one. Let's pretend she's not there, right? If she is, I go and 1v1 her, stop her from trying to get a pick on my team. But if she's not, circle around through that door, go through there, and just hold that angle.
This works good for me. This works good for me. And to be honest with you, I actually don't think this position up here is too bad, because this position isn't that useful. This position is pretty useful, and this position is pretty useful as well. And you could dig this. Yeah, it gives you options. Right. Well, it's because you could just drop from the high ground and you already have the angle that you want. Right.
Oh, okay.
You could have also taken this time while you're waiting for your team to respawn to wrap around this way. Sneaky, 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 sneaky. That would have worked as well. And you could even blinked over here and grabbed the mini and harassed from back here. But yeah.
And I remember a video that you posted that like you said that like Tracer has a lot of jobs, right? Like
She does.
you have to like go like so I don't know when should I try and 1v1 that Tracer if I know she's there to stop her from getting my team, and when should I go for my own play and try and distract the team or get a kill?
I'm going to give you the easy answer, and not because you can't handle the information, but because a 100% correct answer is so nuanced and just really not important most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
The easy answer is it doesn't matter. Take an angle. If she's there, fight her. If not, just take the angle.
Okay.
Because let's think about it this way. You're like looking at this here and you're like, okay, should I go mark the Tracer over here? Which of you guys has the squishier backline? I don't know. Like their Ana Ashe is pretty squishy, but you guys have a Life Weaver Hanzo, that's pretty squishy. But the real question is should you utilize all your blinks to go over here and chase a Tracer? Or should you just take what's given to you right now and just go right now?
Okay. Yeah,
you got to see what I'm saying? So this is where if you overanalyze the situation too much, you might end up trying to mark DPS too much and waste your resource. Because if you use 2 blinks to get here, she's going to win that 1v1.
Yeah.
Right? And so then you're going to lose the off angle, you're going to lose the 1v1, and yeah, you slowed her down, but it was honestly just a waste of time. Just take the other thing too is like, did you have pulse spawn? Pulse spawn's not very good, and the Tracer 1v1 pulse spawn's better. And Squishy's it's a big complicated mess. So just take an angle. If she's there, like she was first fight, then win her. Beat her up, right? If not, take an angle elsewhere like you did here. You mistimed it, but yet this is a good angle, and then go for your own pressure.
Okay.
This character is like there's a lot of complicated details, but like we said at the start, like you don't necessarily need to do every tiny little detail, right? The basic fundamentals are pretty simple. Take an angle, pressure at the right time, and then good things will happen. Like right now, I'm predicting good things from this. Why? Because I really freaking love this angle. I love the fact that you have 2 blinks and your recall and cover and a mini health pack. I love the timing of this engage. I love the angle itself that you got to backline. I think that this is going to feel pretty good. Now, the other team has ultimates. Your team has ultimates, so maybe not. But I like, at least from what I see right now, this is double thumbs up. Perfect. And I even like the target that you're shooting here. So I don't even know. Oh, no, Life Weaver. No. No, I don't want to go there. But think about it. But think about it. Think about it. Again, it feels like everything that could have gone wrong this fight went wrong. And yet, watch what happens. While she's so focused on shooting you, which, by the way, she doesn't even stop you from... She's dead.
Yeah.
That was your job. You did your distraction. And the funny thing is you're still here distracting. And here's the funny thing. Oh, this is just beautiful. This is really good. This is one of those fights where I bet you felt carried.
It was.
But the reality of the situation is nice, Pulse. Reality of the situation, okay, this Life Weaver is getting obnoxious. The reality of the situation is that you were a massive distraction that allowed your Life Weaver to get the first pick. And then you also forced the initial CDs in the distraction that allowed your team to win this fight safely. And you also did a pretty good amount of damage, too.
Yeah.
So it's not flashy, but it's good. And I swear, if this Life Weaver... Why is he doing this?
I don't know.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Mobility is such a lost art in mid to low ranks. Do not understand that I might not want to play right next to you. Now, you got to watch your timing here. You got to really watch your timing here. So this fight is about to start. If you get shot by this Ana right now or naded, oh, it's going to suck.
Yeah. I got my recall forced. I think I died here.
Wait a second. I got to know what happened here. That's what he gets. Where did that Tracer come from? A flank! That's what he gets,
Mm-hmm.
Karma. But yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about, where it's like, oh yeah, is nade for recall a good trade? I don't really know. I don't think it's great. But you needed to be a little more patient with this.
Yeah.
And so what ends up happening is this entire engage feels kind of a mess. So what would you have done differently knowing what you know now?
Maybe just hidden here.
Okay.
Where I was, and like earlier, just waited for the fight to start.
Sure.
And then like maybe wait for the Ana to push a little bit because she knows I'm
Yeah.
here. That's why she's not moving
Right.
forward.
Right.
Wait for her to
Right.
push, then wrap around and go after.
Right. Exactly. Now, to be honest with you, nothing that you would have done would have won you this fight. Their Tracer hit a crazy 2K pulse bomb, and your supports just completely flubbed the bed. Right? They crap. But it's always good to not necessarily ask what would have won this fight, but what is something that I can practice that I learned from this fight. And I think there's definitely something like what your solution was perfect. Was really, really perfect.
Okay.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
See, I also got told, like you'll see me do this a lot, where I'll just like peek from cover and shoot. I got told by this guy, and he says, well, you need to incorporate some stuff from awkward too. He's like, you're just doing nothing right now. You need to build ult charge.
Right.
And I'm like, well, like, but if I do that, I reveal my position. He's like, doesn't matter, build ult charge. And I duoed with him a lot, and I kind of built a bad habit of just like peeking and shooting
Right.
just to build ult charge because I feel like, oh well, he told me I wasn't doing anything. I'm not doing anything, and I just
Yeah, and you see exactly the issue here, right? Like the problem is that awkward is right, in a lot of ways that a lot of tracers take way too long in their setup. They end up really late to the fight. They're really hesitant. They're really scared. It's about getting your uptime up, but not all uptime is created alike. For example, if you shoot now, you're going to do damage. You're going to do distractions. But what's going to happen by the time the fight probably starts? Where are you going to be? We've already seen this once in this exact same map, right? What happens?
I'm going to be forced either to go back to my team, run away and wait for my cooldowns to refresh, or I'm going to die.
Or you're going to die. And there's a much higher chance of that death because everybody can chase you because there's nobody else but you. And this is the problem where it's like, yes, your uptime will be high, but it will be at all the wrong times. When there's no follow-up from your team, there's very low chance of getting a kill. The distraction is the Kevster principle doesn't matter because there's nobody there to follow up, and the chances of your death matter significantly less. And best case scenario, like you said, you end up back inside your team shooting the enemy Malga in the face, which is just not great. I think there's a lot of things that are really great about pushing uptime, but it's about when is that uptime. When the fight starts, you should try to min-max your uptime by playing cover, by having a good off angle, by having health packs, by choosing the right targets, by moving well, right? But chasing uptime like it's the most important thing that matters is really, really silly. It's really silly. Because this is exactly what we talked about, right? Where it's like, maybe you could get this kill here. Maybe you don't. Maybe you just die. Oh my goodness, you should have died. And now the fight's about to start. And where are you?
I'm nowhere to be found.
Nowhere to be found. Now, to be fair, their Tracer got a kill as well, but this is a disaster. Even here feels like, think about it this way. When would be the best time? So you're walking up, right? Is now a good time? You can see through walls. Is now a good time to go?
Not quite yet.
Not quite. Close. Not quite. 1 second, maybe even. Better though, because the fight is happening, and so Kevster principle here, again, look at the kill feed, right? It was good enough for you to pull attention away from both supports. And the Malga has got to be like losing his mind because he's like, what am I supposed to do? Where are my supports? I literally received 0 healing this entire fight. Nice job.
He was complaining about heals a lot.
Yeah, nice job. Now, I want to nitpick one aspect of your Tracer play here. Besides being a teeny bit early, what's the other problem about this right here?
I'm not doing really anything from that distance, I guess.
That's it, exactly. Man, you were brilliant with this stuff. I can see why you ranked up to gold. Every time I ask a question, you always have the answer immediately. Yeah, you're 100%. You're too far away. So what's the solution here?
Either blink up really fast, get a 1 clip, or sneak up on him while he pushes and then get a 1 clip.
Could have utilized his car, right?
Yep,
you could have I might have even double blinked over here and played for cover and maybe try to play from here. You could have also, like you said, gone in for the recall, the all-in. The awkward call is the cross punch, right? The big punch, that would have been fine as well. But yeah, this just feels like this is like the Kevster principle perfectly placed, where it feels like you're actually doing nothing besides distracting, which kind of feels bad. And I honestly think that you could have actually done a little bit of damage there besides just distracting if you'd been closer.
Yeah.
Set up an angle. Nice. I like this rotation from you. This is really good. Even this is okay, so now this is the the real juice. Okay, this is exactly what you talked about earlier. Should you chase this Tracer or should you not?
Actually, I mean, maybe not
Why
because
not?
they're kind of like isolated and by themselves, and they're taking like it looks like a 2v1.
Don't
Um.
overthink it. This is the question. Remember when we asked whether you should chase the tracer or not? Remember it was here?
What? I expend too many blanks to go
Right.
after. It'd be better just to take that fight over here.
Exactly. If this tracer was here, I would absolutely chase her. She's not. She's over there. It's too far away. Meanwhile, there's literally something right freaking here. Look at the angle right here. Oh my days. And you walk away from it to chase a tracer.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
this is where it's like, if you have an angle, just shoot what's there. Don't try and chase. I mean, honestly, if the Malga was here and had his back turned to you, I would still rather shoot the Malga from an angle than chase a tracer that's 3 blinks away, right?
Okay.
So just take the angle here, because I appreciate you thinking about this. Oh my days.
Yeah, I got messed up.
That's how tracer goes sometimes. Sometimes the crosshair just lines up, you know?
Yeah.
Like, there is a little bit of luck involved, but yeah. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Just take an angle. If she's there, great. If she's not there, shoot what you can shoot from that angle. Don't overthink it. Same thing here, right? Oh my days. That's the thing with tracer. If you move in a straight line, even for a second, like the damage that you could take is like actually unreal. All right. Oh, so frustrating, right? But you know what? It's still okay. You force a life weaver back. You're taking a 1-for-1 for the Hanzo. You didn't have to demand too many resources from your team. You're gonna turn and shoot the Malga in the back. I actually don't mind this too much. The only thing I would ask you is, would it be better from this angle to shoot or go for this, or to go for this, or even to honestly go for the Hanzo, right? What do you think?
I think that support like in this instance, I think Hanzo would be best because he's like the most isolated, and
Mm-hmm.
he like his supports are not looking at him. So
That is true.
if I go after him, they're not gonna like they either have to turn around and not heal the Mauga, and worry about me, and then I just run away,
Well,
or I
the
get a free
question
kill.
is, it too far away for you? Look at your resources. Look at his positioning. Is it too far away?
Um, maybe it might be like maybe it's better go after the life weaver then. Yeah.
I'm honestly not too sure. I think it's really up to you, because I kind of asked you a trick question there. It's a little far away, yes, but you have 3 blinks and you're about to have your recall as well.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to go for a little bit more of a, again, awkward cross play, right? This would be a good time for it. This would be a good time for it. You can handle it. I do think that probably the Honor of the Life Weaver would be the better play, just because of how close they are. But yeah, keep in mind.
Yeah.
Now this is the right play. You just got rolled. She's inside of you. Shoot her. Just a little slow on the recall, and she got the mini health back. That's all. I'm sure she's very proud of herself.
Yeah. She was doing that a lot. She was actually a good sport though, because I said like at the end, hey, I needed the practice. You were really good. Appreciate it. And they said, oh man, I love you.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice of both you guys. That's always a good interaction to have. But yeah, I mean, really, that was, besides, I think, going backwards on the Malga. I mean, chasing the tracer there was fine. You know, you had every advantage there, so you just need to win those. That's all. And like you said, the fact that you chased it, even if you lose, you're like, oh man, still good. It's good practice. You know, keep it up.
Yeah.
Dying like that, dying like that is like, dying like that is good. You know, and I want to say again here, be careful. I love the angle you got here, but this mount, they're not committing. So be careful. All this distraction value, all these CDs, just be careful, because that Malga is not touching this yet. Just let it rest. Like you can even hear, listen for the combat sounds of that tank. Now is a good time to go, right? But the problem is you've already kind of given yourself away. You kind of see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's another factor as well, is that where you have the surprise element. But if you've already given yourself up, then it's just not as valuable.
So it seems like a big thing for me is I need to work on my patience.
Patience, yes, 100%. So that you can have better uptime when it actually matters. And I'll say one other thing as well here. I don't know that I would chase this again. Maybe I would, because it's not too bad, but I think there's an option to go for really either target here. Do you see?
Yeah.
I don't think it's too bad. You could have used another blink there and gotten onto the roof, but yeah. All right, set up that angle. Oh dear. Nice. Maybe winnable here. Get the recall out. Nice. Good.
Yeah, they ran away.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Oh dear.
Yeah, I think I
That's
died
all
here.
right. That's all right. That's all right. You're doing fine. So 1 for 1, right? So 1 for 1. Now. Go. Ooh. Oh, no. Nice. You got it. Now, I know what you're going to do here. I don't blame you for it. Just understand it's risky. If you're feeling it, you're like, yeah, we're popping off. Get it. Recall out of here and run and find another angle. I totally thought that was going a different direction. You were thinking about it.
I was.
You were thinking about it. That's all right. All right. Set up on that angle. Because this is a tricky spot, right? That might be an angle like over here. It might be an angle where you creep quietly behind over here. But you can't be here, right? Man, she is thirsty. She really wants that kill on you. This has become an ego duel. Because now she's the one chasing you too much, right?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. He who laughs last. You know, but the funny thing is the reason why she dies here is because she overchased, right? So she had no blinks or recall. If she had just taken an angle on your backline, I think she might. Yeah, I mean, she got rolled. And you're the good sport here. You're too busy winning the ball game. You're not sitting there to teabag. You know what I'm saying? Nice pulse bomb. But this is why you don't angle on tanks generally, right? At this point in time, I mean, come on, look at this.
I could have gone after her.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Now, if they are literally all the way up here and there's no way, like if they're too far away, I can't set up an angle in time, sure. But you've seen this a couple of times, but there have been absolutely opportunities for it, and you've just not looked, right? You've just not looked. So, reasonable pulse bomb, but yeah, need to work on continually taking angles on squishies and not getting tunneled on the tank sometimes. Even going back to the first fight, remember the first fight? Didn't see an angle immediately. You got bored. You went to shoot tank. Get out of dodge. Run. Set up an angle. Where's the fight going to start? Probably around here. Where do you need to be? Probably not here. Where would you go?
Maybe up to this high ground right here and move along towards that room and either go through, wrap around there, or drop down from high ground when they.
You got it. Even this is too direct, right? I appreciate that you're going for backline, but you're running right at them instead of wrapping around. You are going to die. Yeah, we're going to predict the future. You are... Wait. No. Maybe you're okay. Yeah, you're okay. You got out. Nice. Now, I like this. There's Blink, or Nade. You had both supports attention on you. Okay, waiting. Really not possible for you to get an angle here. Oh, wait, what happened here? Oh, he got Javelin out of the start of his run. Ouchies. I always forget that he's not CC immune for like the first half a second of that ability. It's actually crazy. You could sleep him right out of it if you hit it just at the right time. All right, set up the angle. Because, again, you know where the fight's going to start, right? So where do you need to be? Good, but do this sooner.
Yeah.
Creep. Quiet. Oh, it's gonna be big. Oh no!
I think you got life gripped.
Yeah, they must have gotten life gripped.
Maybe not.
Yeah. Life grip is really like a pain, to be honest with you. I think like it ruins solo shatters, it ruins solo grabs, it ruins pulse bombs. It might be one of those things where you look for angles onto the Life Weaver a little bit more, so that like you could creep actually all the way around here, or maybe even like risk the blink in and hope he doesn't pedal. I mean, if you're on top of him, he can't pedal anyway. Because this is such a shame. Like this pulse bomb feels like, oh my goodness, that could have been so big. And yeah, he doesn't even life grip, right? He just lunges out to safety. So just kind of keep that in mind. The angle was good, the timing was good. The only thing I'll say is maybe you could have blinked back to cover instead of recalling.
Yeah. I have a habit of whenever I pulse bomb, I just recall.
It's a very common habit. It's a very common
Yeah.
habit. It's
Get
tough to break.
J3 pulse
Yeah.
bomb.
Yeah, it's a tough habit to break, but it's all right. Beautiful angle. Really beautiful timing and angle here. Find the next target. Yeah, this is great. I mean, this is just solid Overwatch. Are you guys going to win this? You are
I
going to
think we
win
do.
this. Yeah, this is great. This is good Overwatch. That was a great angle. Great timing. The only thing obviously was like the pulse recall and actually hitting the pulse bomb. But I mean, again, like we see why you are now a gold tracer now, right? So we talked about a lot. So let's take some notes. What do you need to practice? What specific things do you need to improve? What comes to mind?
Not tunneling on the tank for one. Taking more off angles.
Okay, making sure, let's slow it down just a second. So making sure to prioritize squishies when available. Okay, what else?
You
said off angles, right?
Taking more off angles.
Prioritizing, I will go as far as say prioritizing your setup on off angles pre-fight. Okay. And then once you're on that off angle, what was the big thing that we talked about a lot? When you have the off angle, your uptime, right? What uptime do you want? Yeah. So what do you want with your uptime?
I guess the uptime that minimizes how many resources I use. Is that what we talked about? And like instead of going after the tracer, go after the
But also, when is that time?
Oh, whenever the two tanks engage and they're committed to the fight.
Timing your engage with your team so your distraction isn't wasted. Those are the big three. If I were to throw in one more detail here, I'm even going to put a little tier gap here. Mechanics or 1v1s. If the target is looking at you, first reaction should generally be to blink. Make them move their crosshair. If they do not see you, shoot first. Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense, yeah.
Your weapon is actually like not the most important thing in a 1v1. Like if you had Tracer and you took away her blinks, she'd be an awful 1v1 character. Like probably easily the worst in Overwatch. Because everything in Overwatch 2 can almost essentially one-shot you. Almost everything can one-shot you. What complements it, though, is the fact that you can shoot a little bit, blink, shoot a little bit, blink, reload, shoot a little bit. It's like you basically, your goal is, and this is the crazy thing with Tracer at like the higher levels, people obsess on the tracking, but it's actually the movement that makes higher level Tracers so good. It's really both, but if you think about it, like you're talking about like these top 500 Overwatch League Grandmaster players, they miss the majority of their shots versus these great Tracers. They make them look like gold, silver, bronze players, right? Because if you don't make them look like bronze, silver, or gold players, they will one-shot you, right? And that's kind of like what you want to be aiming for. Okay, any questions?
No, I think I've asked all of them and gotten a pretty good answer. I think
good.
I am really ready to put this into practice.